the Sea of Cortez right now. It is really hot here. You know, really hot and humid. Just going live here at the, it's kind of last minute. We have a really good, solid Starlink connection right now. So this morning we went on a dive and got to see a lot of sea lions, some hammerhead sharks down below, around 80 feet or so is what the divers have reported today. I filmed a lot of sea lions. It was pretty exciting. Hello, DJ, Census Fail, and Vicky. Thanks for joining. This is a last-minute live. It's a Q&A. Just wanted to just get to know you all, and haven't really done this before, so I'm trying to figure out a way to go live through the drone so that I can show you guys some of the sea life that I film. Now, so that you can see what's behind me, this is an island, and it is covered with California fur seals and sea lions. So it's pretty cool. You can probably hear them if you listen closely. I don't know how good the sound is. How can you guys hear me okay? All good? But yeah, we have some sea lions back there. All right, so I've lived in Malibu for quite a long time. I lived there for about 13 years and just recently moved to Ventura, actually. Have I seen any great whites? No, but I'm looking. The water temperatures here, believe it or not, are like 82 degrees. So it's going to be very hard to find a great white shark in those temps here. I'm in the Sea of Cortez, for those of you who are asking, and I really appreciate your support. If you look closely here, I'm going to try to see if I can flip the camera. So there's a ton of sea lions just right here. They're hanging out. I was swimming among them this morning. I did some 360 video. It was pretty cool because I was surrounded by like 200 of them. Who would win a fight between a great white and a polar bear? Good question. I don't think they'd ever be found together. But yeah, this is the Sea of Cortez. I'm doing right now a trip called the Ultimate Whale Shark Experience. So we're on our way up to the Bahia of Los Angeles, which is it's a good trek from La Paz all the way up. We're stopping at dive sites all the way there, but that area is known for whale sharks. So we will be surrounded by whale sharks in a couple days. It's going to be really, really cool. I don't really know why it's called the Sea of Cortez. But yeah, the sky is super blue here, as is the water. The visibility has been incredible. But back to the whale sharks. That's what we're going to be filming. Hopefully I can go live and show you guys some whale sharks live in a couple days. The Sea of Cortez has so much life in it. This morning I filmed a pygmy sperm whale. The drone, they're very skittish. So as soon as they hear the drone, even if I'm flying 300 feet above, they dive. And so I just saw them briefly. So what else? What's going on? Any questions out there? You know, I don't know why it's called the Sea of Cortez. Really appreciate that. 556 Media, really. And Mary, last report, the last trip up here last week, they had like 10 whale sharks around them. So if I get surrounded by 10 whale sharks, I guarantee you I'm going to share that video with you guys. So that's going to be really, really awesome. It's so loud, right? These. Hopefully I can keep a connection here. Again, we are pretty far out. We're in the Sea of Cortez out here. This is a little island called Las Animas, and it's really blue here. There's a ton of hammerhead sharks in this water right now. Just cool. I haven't seen very many hammerheads, but I don't know how good this connection is. I'm using Starlink. That is true. It is named after the conquistador Hernan Cortez. I know that. But I don't really know why they would name it after him. Scalloped hammerheads. That's what we're seeing here today. I'm going to try to get you some footage of that. I'm so preoccupied with these sea lions. I get just surrounded by them. So the sea lions and the dolphins earlier, got to swim with them. Oh, good. I'm glad you can hear me. Pretty awesome. So, yeah. The question of the biggest great white, it's pretty tough to find a size reference sometimes in the ocean, but you can usually tell the size of the sharks. If you've seen them so many times, you can just usually tell by the distance between the dorsal fin and the pectoral fins and the girth on them. But yeah, 18 feet's the biggest I've seen. Recently, I did film, if you saw that video, I did film that great white shark next to that stand-up paddleboarder. That one was in the 14-foot range, 13, 14-foot range. Because it was like 3 feet under the water, it was next to an 11-foot surfboard, so you got to kind of do the math a little bit because it is lower than the board. Thanks a lot, Vicky. Appreciate it. It's super hot here right now. It's got to be 89, 90, maybe 92 degrees. No, the hammerheads are not aggressive. Nope. Now I'm sweating like crazy right now. So I'm going to be doing more videos. Try to get you guys some more shark content. But throw me out any kind of things you'd like to see, because I got a lot of time to film things. So let me know what you want to see. Is it okay if I promote your channel? I'm not monopod. Sure. Yeah. Of course. Thank you. So the bottom temps are still pretty warm. Like, it's ridiculous right now how hot it is. Most of the divers are just diving in their swimsuits and their trunks. It's that warm. I was here exactly a year ago, and it was not this warm. So the water is really, really warm right now. Don't know what's going on, but it's like bath water. This boat that I'm on is the Bellamy. It is a very, very popular great white shark dive boat. I've been on this boat a few times to cage dive with great whites, and it's kind of sad to see it without the cages in the back, but she's a beautiful boat. We have right now 26 guests aboard, all divers, and normally I would be at Guadalupe Island filming great whites, but now they're doing these whale shark excursions that are pretty cool, because you get to see all of the Sea of Cortez basically till you get up to the Bay of Los Angeles, and you're able to see whale sharks. So whale sharks are the main goal. I've been told we will be swimming with like a dozen whale sharks, and that's going to be awesome. How did you become interested in sharks? The area, okay, so this other question is, the area that I'm in right now is not formally known for a lot of great white sharks here in the Sea of Cortez, but there are some sharks that do come out here. The theory is that some of these sharks are pupping out here. There is a famous shark on the west coast. She's tagged. She goes by the name of Po Girl, and her last transmissions of that shark came from right here in the Sea of Cortez. So that shark is in the area, and she's big. She's a good 18-foot female. So I know that she's here in the Sea of Cortez. I'm going to be looking for her for sure, because we're going to pass right by where she pinged. The question about how I got started with sharks, I've always liked sharks since I was little, but I love Jaws, and that movie really kind of sparked my interest in sharks, but I always had a misconception about them. Watched Shark Week. I haven't watched Shark Week in a long time, actually, but I've always had an interest in the sharks, and just telling a story about them that really hasn't been told. because when it comes down to it, seeing them and observing wildlife and sea life in general without interfering with them, that's really where you get the cool stuff. Let me see what other questions here. Thanks, Ross. I appreciate that. What about Shark Fest? I do watch Shark Fest. In fact, a lot of my footage is on Shark Fest. I don't know. I lost count this year, but I had a lot of episodes with my shark footage and content on Nat Geo this year. I didn't do too much with Discovery, but you never know. Stay tuned. There's good things on the horizon as far as programming, hopefully. We have an airplane up in the air right now, and that airplane is flying here in the Sea of Cortez, and it's spotting sea life for us. So if they were to spot orcas, then we're gonna haul tail over there and get over there and try to film the orcas. All right, let me see if I can show you guys. So I think the divers are over here. You see that rock over there? Yeah, that rock over there is full of sea lions, but that's where the hammerhead sharks are right now. So we've got, I think, like 6 divers over there. If you can see there's more sea lions. Then we have a group of divers over here as well. Something I've been using that I'm really happy with is the Insta360. You guys, I'm going to start putting a lot more underwater footage on my channel, just because I'm out here and I'm compiling a lot of underwater stuff. So that stuff has really got me hooked right now, because that 360 is really a cool perspective. That sea lion, you hear him? Is it true the sharks are afraid of dolphins? How many drones do you have ready to fly to film at once? Well, I have 2 drones with me on this trip today. I normally don't go out anywhere unless I have a couple drones with me. I always have a backup. But, as far as equipment, I usually travel pretty heavy with all kinds of stuff. Half the time I don't use everything, but, I like to have everything that's available. They're going to go pick up the divers right now. I decided to stay back. I'm going to fly the drone in the other direction. Let me show you the other way. So over there, some more islands are back there, as you can see, and that's the mainland. So I'm going to fly my drone probably 5 miles that direction. And a couple days ago, I found 10 marlins, and then I found the biggest mahi-mahi El Dorado I'd ever seen. It was on a bait ball, just beautiful. I'll end up sharing that on my channel eventually. Water with any sharks. I wouldn't say afraid. I would say that I've been nervous sometimes. Only time I've ever been nervous is for some reason around a bull shark. I did swim with a bull shark once. A few weeks ago, I was in Rhode Island and got to basically be in the water with makos, and that definitely got your heart rate up. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you probably saw some of my mako photos. I was there with famous and awesome cinematographer Joe Romero. The guy's underwater specialist. He does great underwater photography, so he took me out and we got to photograph makos at night, and that was a pretty cool thing. Like getting a mako to smash against my camera dome in the dark was a pretty not nerve-wracking, but it made me a little bit elevated in my heart rate. So we can't wait. Yeah, Hannah, I can't wait to see. That's the thing about the Sea of Cortez. You can see anything at any time. We got the airplane up. I get my drone out there. You never know what will show up. Of course, we're always looking for the orcas. That's the thing that we really want to see. But oh wow, thank you, 556 Media. Really appreciate that. It's for me, it's about education, and that's really the biggest compliment that you can give me is about education. Trying to get people to understand that the sharks are not necessarily out there to kill us all the time. They're not there to just feed on humans all the time. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's even YouTube channels popping up that are telling scary stories of sharks, but the stories are developed by ChatGPT. So I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but that's crazy that they're using ChatGPT to make up essentially shark scary stories that basically are designed to make people scared of sharks. And I know it's entertainment, but people watch it and think that that's a reality on sharks, and it's not. And then I especially don't like it because then some of these channels are putting my footage on top of these scary stories. I don't know. I don't want to rant about it, but that is happening right now. If you guys see these channels that are making scary stories like that, that's not the reality. The reality is that sharks, by all means, have always been much more calm, much more indifferent to humans whenever you film them. They're not necessarily out there to just eat us all the time. Would I swim out there in the open with a hungry great white shark? No, absolutely not. Some people do, but those are controlled conditions, and I would not recommend it. Oh, what do you think about these folks redirecting sharks? Okay, so that's a topic that's very interesting because, as I say, if you have a shark that is motivated, if a shark that's hungry, ready to go, no tap on the nose is going to stop that animal from getting you. So it's if you develop a relationship with an animal, if you're a diver and you've developed a relationship with an animal over the course of a few years, and you know when that animal's eaten and you understand that it's not hungry right now, and then you can gently touch its nose and do the redirecting, as they say. I still think that can't be a good thing for general sharks, because and I say when because they're unpredictable animals, when something happens, it's going to be the shark's reputation that gets damaged, and that we don't need because there are already enough people just killing these sharks. But I'm not one to teach his or her own. People run their businesses giving shark tours and touching them and redirecting them. That's their decision, but I personally am against it. I would never pay to do that. Just leave the sharks alone is my theory. And yes, I've gone cage diving, but that's far from society, or from that was very far from human civilization, and it's different. You're not chumming in the water, and you're definitely not touching sharks. So let me see what questions came through here. Live chat. How sharks interact with people based on whether it's swimwear. Okay, so the colors of sharks, and then there's a favorite drone question we have there. They say that sharks are attracted to the color yellow. There's something I want to do. I wanted to put up some kayaks and just have them in different colors and see what the sharks react to, just to kind of get a little bit more of a concrete data on that. But I don't know about humans if there's ever been an actual study because of the nature of sharks, of what color they're wearing. I do know that the yum yellow is a yellow color that they are attracted to. Now, my favorite drone. I know the drone questions are going to come up. The drone I fly with is the Mavic 3 Pro. I have a couple of those. I have a Phantom 4 version 2. I have this is a list of drones. If you've seen my channel, this is the list of drones that my channel consists of. It's the Mavic 3 Pro, the Phantom 4 version 2, the Mavic Air 2S, the Mavic 2, the Inspire 2. Those are the 5 drones that all the footage on my channel are captured with. But there's a lot more to drones than just putting it up in the air and getting lucky. It's actually, if you want to drone, you want to do that part, you need to put in some time and learn about the species you want to film. And believe me, it's been quite a journey learning about sharks. Oh, the log from the Sea of Cortez. Some of my favorite Steinbeck quotes are from that book. It's just a fabulous book. It's incredible. I keep laughing because I don't know if you guys can hear these sea lions, but they just want to interrupt my my talk here. Have I ever seen a shark on a attack on a human while flying? No. I get that comment a lot on my channel about, oh, it's only, that I'm suppressing shark attack footage because I don't want to. There we go. Had to I had to get connection again. It's not something that I, want to, just the sharks are just, they're not out to eat us. I've never filmed a shark even come close. I'm sweating so much. Even come close to attacking a human. And no, I don't have any footage of it happening. I'm not part of the big conspiracy to cover up sharks. I don't know where that came from, but that is not happening. That is not true. What's my exact location and settings? Who asked me that? Joe Romero. Joe, so there's Joe Romero. I don't know if you guys know Joe. He is a legendary underwater cinematographer. I was talking about Joe just a little while ago when we were talking about mako sharks in Rhode Island. He just asked me what my settings are. It's an inside joke. If you want to learn photography, the first question you should not ask is what are your settings and what is your camera? That's where that joke comes from. But because we get asked that all the time. You guys go follow Joe, actually. It's 333 Productions. There's a series on there called Warfish. You guys should check it out. If you love sharks, you got to go check out Warfish. It's a full-on series of shark adventures that Joe's filming. I think there's one season available for free on YouTube. Go check it out. You'll get to see some pretty intense great white shark, poor beagle, mako action. It's the same boat I was on a couple weeks ago filming the great whites. So yeah, big fan of Joe. You'll see Joe and I are gonna hook. So yeah, big fan of Joe. You'll see Joe and I are gonna hook up here in a couple weeks. We're gonna get you some more shark footage up in Cape Cod. So we will be in Cape Cod in 2 weeks filming great white sharks. 556 Media, Joe. Oh yeah. The seals seem to know Joe too. Like, listen to the seals; they're all cheering Joe on. What do you think of that baby white shark that I filmed? Guys, I'll cut straight to it. Yes, it is a newborn great white shark. There we are again. Sorry. Okay, so back to the shark. Yes, it is a baby newborn great white shark, and I did tease it. You will see it. I promise you, you will see it. There's just some things that we got to take care of first before releasing the whole thing. But yeah, it's going through some peer review and stuff like that. So that'll be exciting. I can't wait to show it to you guys. Cape Cod has a lot of sharks. Oh, can you repeat that? Yes, I can repeat that. I know I lost connection. Yes, it is a baby newborn great white shark by the consensus of scientists I've talked to, and you'll see the footage eventually. I'm just working on a few things to make sure that I can release that in a responsible manner and protect it. You will see it. You will eventually see it. I honestly thought it was an albino great white shark. I didn't even know it was a shark at first. I thought it was some kind of albino fish. It was solid white. It still has like an embryonic membrane or something on it. So I'm super excited to share that with you guys. Eventually you will see it. I promise you, you'll see it. I can't release it quite yet. But Cape Cod, yeah. Do I have any folks up there in Cape Cod? Cape Cod, you know what? I'll be up in Cape Cod with Joe Romero. We're going to be on the research vessel, and I do believe that we're going to set up something like this where we can go live together. As you know, Joe's an underwater cinematographer. I'm an aerial specialist, so we're going to answer your questions, talk sharks, maybe even make a podcast out of it eventually. So, yeah, Cape Cod, I can't wait to get up there. It's definitely not going to be as hot as this, so that's something that I am looking forward to because it is like 95 degrees here right now. Right. Any other questions? I know I probably missed a few questions that I was talking there. You could call it Shark Cast. That is true. I could call it that. That's a good idea. Do you think all those white sharks you film in Santa Barbara have always been there? I never see bright wetsuits, so I don't know if colors would attract the sharks instead. Colors of wetsuits, I don't really know why they're made black for the most part. I wouldn't wear a yellow one. That's for sure. But yeah, the sharks are in Santa Barbara. Have always been there. You know what? I do think that they've always been there. We just now have the technologies and the means to see them. That's something that is sometimes lost in this whole talk about sharks because we kind of think that because we see something now, we don't want to fall into that trap that, oh, we saw something that's never been seen before here. Well, maybe the only thing is that we now have the tools to see these animals, whether it's underwater technologies or aerial technologies. I do believe that some of these areas have always had sharks. The key difference is what's the number that has been there. We don't know even the exact number of great white sharks that are out there. They're federally protected species. So there's a lot of questions, a lot of things we don't know. The thing about where sharks go, where they travel, even that is kind of hit or miss, right? Because I'll give you an example. We've always known that sharks go along the east coast, from Cape Cod all the way to Florida and back, up and down the coast, right? So if you tag the shark up in Cape Cod, so there's what do you call it? O-Search. We'll tag a shark up there. They'll go to Nova Scotia, exactly, and so O-Search is very famous for sharing footage or sharing locations of sharks along the East Coast, and it's supposed to be groundbreaking. Honestly, as an observer, we're not really learning anything that we didn't already know, right? We've always known that the sharks migrate along the eastern seaboard. So drilling these sharks with a drill on their dorsal fin to get this data we already know about, I'm not necessarily on board with that. I do think that it's something that should probably be reevaluated at some point because the data becomes redundant, I would say. Again, I'm not a scientist, but I am a filmmaker and I understand these animals. When you observe them and you see patterns, there's certain things that you understand. As a filmmaker, ask anybody that spends a lot of time on the water, whether it's a fisherman or a photographer, a diver, there's an understanding of the animals that you get. And one of those things is we know that sharks are in certain areas, certain times. We know that they go from here, point A to point B. We drill a sat tag into their dorsal fin, which now we're learning that their dorsal fins are pretty vital. They're pretty vital to the sharks, right? So, yeah, that's something that I think has to be reevaluated. Are we doing any good by drilling into these sharks? I don't know. I'm not to say, but it is something we have to kind of consider. Let's see, great whites being pulled out of the water by O-Search. You know, when they pull a shark out of the water, I just saw that. Tattoo, I saw your comment. When they pull sharks out of the water and put them on a platform, it is a 2,000-pound animal. It wasn't made to be out, you know. I'm sure they take precautions for it. I personally would not do it myself. I don't have the credentials to do it, but I also don't see it For me personally, I'm not trying to preach that we shouldn't do it. So let's differentiate that. I personally don't like it. Would I do that? No, I'm not in a position to do it anyways, but I think that there's better ways to study sharks that aren't as intrusive to their bodies, right? Would you be willing to experiment with a few? And I'm back. So what happens is the boat turns, and when it turns, this mountain gets in the way, and I lose connection. But now we're back. The boat's back. The connection's back. What was I talking about? I don't remember. They're bringing back some divers right now. So you don't see my face always. Let's see. See? Still. Yeah, the weight alone. I don't know. I don't think that the sharks themselves are going to benefit from being lifted out of the water. I just don't see any benefit of lifting a 50, my opinion. So take it as at face value. All right, so I'll take a couple more questions, and then I'm going to go change because I need to get in that water and cool down and hopefully find some hammerhead sharks. First, I'm going to launch the drone and go about 3 miles that way and see if I can find some pilot whales or something like that, because there's reports that they're around. So, any more questions? Do you guys want me to do some of these things more often? At least with a little bit of structure around it. I know this was just last minute, but I wanted to test this out. To David, I answered that question earlier. 18 feet is the largest shark I've seen. But yeah, I will do this. I will do some more of these Q&As, maybe in a more structured manner. There are some things that I want to bring up that are observational about the sharks that would be more fitting instead of the narrated stuff. And the video of the shark birth, that will come. That will come eventually, I promise you. Let's see here. Have you invested in any of these drones that are equipped with speakers, alarm systems? I did have one of those drones. It was a Mavic Enterprise 2. It had a speaker on top. It had infrared and everything, but I actually traded it because it was all an auto mode drone, so I did not like it because I, as a photographer, have to work in manual. I have to use manual settings. Cannot do anything in auto mode. It's just a killer. Somebody just donated 25. Who was that? I'm sorry, I missed it. Doesn't phase him. Platform tagging blood samples. A dude in the large... doesn't phase him. I don't know. Well, a few sharks have been killed when they release them from the platform, so that does phase them, obviously. That's something that they don't want to advertise very much, but it has happened. I know that. But I'm not here to rag on anyone else's, whatever they're doing. That's not really what it. Good question. What do you think about Florida orcas? You know what? The ocean's a big place. We have a lot more people in the water right now, and the orca in Florida, they probably, like any other animal, have passed through there many, many times. We just now got to see them, and which is the case with a lot of these places. We just have more people in the water. We have more drones. We have more boats. Eventually, you're going to see things that have always been there. We just now notice them. That's what's going on there. Orcas, they've been known to be there. They travel all over the place. So that's what I think about that. But thanks a lot, Ocean and David. But we're at 35 minutes. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I'll try to do this again maybe when we're with the whale sharks in a couple days. Like I said, we're going to be surrounded by whale sharks. If I have Starlink connection while I'm next to some of these sharks, I do want to get that up there. And one last thing before I go, I will be able to be live from my drone, so I can share shark footage to you guys through my drone, but that's going to be reserved for my subscribers. I'm launching that subscription service on YouTube, and I need to give them an extra thing because it does take time. It does take an investment of work and time to create this stuff for you guys. So I will eventually make the drone footage, 4K drone live feeds. When I iron that out, everybody's going to have that. It's going to be really cool, so you can see sharks live. I may even do it here. I mean, I could probably just launch a drone right now, go live again, but through the drone. Maybe I'll try that. If you see me in the next 10 minutes go live from the drone, it's because I was successful setting it up. So no promises, but maybe I'll try it. But thank you, Hannah. Thank you, 556 Media again, and Katie. Thanks for joining, everybody, and I will see everybody soon. Thank you, and in the meantime, bye-bye from the Sea of Cortez.